years ago, I was in the hardware business and I got into it incidentally. Perhaps you've gotten into something incidentally before as well. And I was raking my yard one afternoon and I broke my handle. I must have really been raking those leaves. And I broke the handle and I thought, well, nuts. I still want to keep raking. So I looked around and it was just getting into the internet era, but I knew there was a hardware store down the street, literally. So I walked the 6 blocks to my hardware store, and I had long hair at the time and ponytail out the back of my hat and a flannel shirt and jeans and so forth. And I walked in and I need a new handle. Somebody came up to me right away. What can we help you find today? So boom, I need one that's one part. And so he walked me over and I'm looking around, and I don't know about anybody else, but hardware stores have a certain magic to them. There's a lot of romance around hardware, my friends. So walked in the hardware, was helped by the young man. His name was Eric, still remember it. And I looked around and I said, gosh, this is a beautiful store. I said, are you looking for some great help? And he said, oh yeah, come meet the manager. I'm like, I was slightly horrified because I'd never shown up in a job interview in jeans and a flannel shirt. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not what I was trained for. I went through school to be an elementary teacher, and I sure as heck wouldn't show up for an interview in jeans and a flannel shirt. But okay, it's a hardware store. Like, all right, I didn't protest too much because I thought, all right, let's just see where this goes. So he walks me up and we sit down and I meet the manager, and we start having the conversation. And I finally let him know of my slight discomfort in some way. He says, well, come back tomorrow and we'll have an official interview. I'm like, that'd be great. So down the stairs I go. Long story short, I joined that store and I loved my time in hardware. And there were so many reasons that I loved it. And one of them was the people that I met with the dealership. And the dealership was Ace. Ace is the place, you know the line. One of the people who was with the Ace Corporation was Jack Anderson. And I would love to reconnect Jack Anderson because Jack taught me a lesson of language that I attached to immediately that changed so much for me. It's going to be the very first thing I share today on Connecting Juice, the language of leadership, language of connecting. Jack and I got to know each other by phone first. And then finally, one time we got to be in the room together at a workshop at Train the Trainers. And we were in the room and he said, Ginger, here's the lesson. Here's the first juice. Replace but with and. It's really simple and it's very straightforward and it changes everything. And as soon as he said that, I thought, oh, yeah. Yes, it does. It does change everything because it immediately assumes the positive. It assumes progress. It assumes forward motion. And that's the language of connecting, my friends. Forward motion, progress, thoughtfulness, positivity, willingness. Like, oh man, let's get on that train because that's the one we need. So that is the first lesson today with Connecting Juice. So glad you're all here. Anne, it's great to see you again. Janice, thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting Sandra. All y'all, thank you for being here. The language of connecting is something that strums a chord to me personally. I'm a word nerd. Words mean a lot more than we realize they mean. Like Ann Neville, who just joined us, like she can sell a taco in all kinds of ways using these words, but using her empathy, using her skills. You're gonna have to ask her about it. You're gonna connect with Anne and ask her to sell you a taco because she'll know what that means and you'll have a great connection because Anne is a wonderful connector. I'm so grateful for Anne. I'm grateful for all of you. John, good to see you. Thanks for coming today. The language of connecting. I love, love, love this topic. Now, Susan McKenzie, who's also in the house today, has witnessed me in person several times. We actually only live a matter of miles away from each other in Southern Oregon, and she hears me talk about language. And her language is strong and positive and going in that direction too. So I'm going to give you at least 10 today. If you want more than that, we can talk about how you can get more. That's where we look at how we work together, different opportunities. Today, I'm going to unload. I'll be honest with you. Like, okay, there was one right there. Don't use that phrase. I'll be honest with you, because what do you assume? That they've been lying to you. we don't want that, or that they haven't been completely honest. We don't want that. We want full transparency. We definitely want it. I can see some of you shaking your heads. Oh yeah, darn right I do. Don't tell me a yarn. I need the real thing. Absolutely. The language of connecting is so powerful. And I want you to take these words today, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you words to use and words to purge. For every yin, there's a yang. Are you ready? Thumbs up? Okay, great. Before I unload on you, before I give you Christmas of the language variety, I'm actually going to go into, we're going to do some breakout room. And what I want you to do for a very, I'm going to give you 2 minutes. And in your groups, I want you to share words that drive you crazy. The words that you're like, oh, I cringe when people say it. Some of you are getting some faces. You're like, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. It's the language that's unhelpful, that feels constrictive, that feels negative. All y'all are positive people. You're all here to learn. So in breakout rooms, in a 2-minute time period, I want you to dump. What are the words that you just can't stand? Go ahead and print them in the chat when you're talking, and we're going to come back. But I want you to discuss. This is an opportunity to connect. And write down, brainstorm words that make you crazy. And we will come back shortly, because I want to hear all about the words that you have. So here we go. See you soon. All right. Hello. Indeed. Please stay in there. All right. Hello, hello. What's going on? What's going on?
Before you actually say that. Yeah.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Janice.
I was alone. I was going, oh no, I'm alone. And Dawn came, so that was good.
Yeah, sorry, our spam filter caught your invite, so we were scrambling. So you might have 2 or 3 more people join you.
And I was late because my Zoom wouldn't take the link. So next time, please put in the join numbers as well. Sandra emailed them to me so I could get in.
Weird. Okay, good to know. Thank you. I didn't know it was doing that, Janice, so I appreciate that. I will make
sure. Okay, that's good. So the other one that just came to me is when somebody says, I'll try.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Either
yeah.
do.
Becky.
Hi, Ginger.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Excellent.
Letting me join late. I appreciate that.
Glad you're here. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So while everybody, let's burn up the chat. Put some words in there for me. What are the words that make you crazy?
So that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to get that.
Are you pulling thread?
Yeah, right.
Right? All right,
Yeah.
I'll start burning up the chat. Oh, yeah. Let me go. So
Do
apparently
you see mine from
Oh.
our breakout, or do they not come over?
they
don't
didn't,
come
and
over.
I got to figure that out. Maybe you can school me on
No,
that. another
They
time.
don't come over.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, I'll paste them.
That's annoying. Okay. In other words, just amazing, awesome. Oh, has anybody else seen that TED Talk by? I'll send it in the follow-up notes. There's a talk on awesome, and she's so spot on. She's like, a sandwich is not awesome. Bees are awesome. Okay, yes, absolutely. Just to be honest, I'll try. Ooh, that's a good one. Think outside the box. Yeah, where is this mythical box, y'all? I don't know where that's at. Stop it. It's like the cats in the bags. They hate that too. So burn up the chat. If you're just joining us, put in some of your hot words. Put in some of the words, phrases that make you crazy. Let's see here. Let's get a really good list going on because y'all have some. Ooh, should, could, would. We don't want to should on people. That's a bad thing. Let me tell you. Well, yes, then just go ahead and tell me. The thing is, ooh, yeah, what is that thing? Oh, this is so good. You're all giving me so much more than I had on deck. I know, right? Oh, John, that's a good one. This is so good. Keep them coming. Whatever words drive you crazy, since we're talking about the language of connecting today, put them in the chat. Having said that, yeah, that's redundant. Just wasted 5 more seconds of my life. Yes. Keep putting them in there. Put the words in the chat that make you crazy, because what we need to do to improve our language, we need to look towards the positive. And to do that, we generally are replacing. Now, it's great if you're on the additive train, if you're the one who says, oh, this is how I'm going to start. Really, though, we learn language when we're not fully cognizant of what language means. So to connect properly, best, most effectively, to make the impact you all want to make, we really need to be present in our communications. Now, here's the caveat. Let's not paralyze ourselves. Don't need to do that. This is not to the paralysis point. This is to the thoughtful point. So I opened Connecting Juice today with that story of Jack Anderson, how the very first one I'm going to give you today is replace but with and. So that's the first one. And is huge. And is also, if you have taken any improv, and even if you haven't, one of the tenets of improv comedy is to make your partner look better, to make the other better. And you use the term, yes, and ... You fill in the blank. So it's always an and, never a but. All right, next one, or. How many times in life are there truly only 2 choices? Very few when it gets down to it. Very few. Plus, here's the grad level pro tip. Replace or with and. Yes. And. Instead of or, why do we have to choose one or the other? That's rock and a hard place. I don't know about you, but I've known people who've cut off their arms when that happens. Like, don't do that. Get rid of or. Next one, either. Oh, it's the twinned or. Either or. We don't use slashes in our language. Please, please, please elevate your fine selves. Get rid of either. If somebody gives you those, say, I'm going to think about that. I bet there are more options. Now, we don't always have to win. It's not the game we're playing. At the same time, there are always more options than there are limits. Always. Next one. Oh, I don't know if anybody put this in the chat, but it's one of my absolute hot buttons. No problem. Susan, you like that one too? That one? Really? Who said there was a problem? That's like that damn box. Really? Come on. Knock it off. No problem. While it is intended for something else, saying it changes that something else. There's just no doubt about it. I've actually been in the Caribbean where that is part of the culture. Okay, that's different. And if I say, Becky, would you get me this thing? And Becky says, sure, no problem. I think, there was a problem. I was being a problem. There was a problem there. No. That doesn't feel good all the way around. So get rid of no problem. Okay. Like, I think somebody said that. Now that's what I call verbal garbage. Take out the trash today, my friends. Because like, another one right on its heels is, you know. No, I don't know. Stop it. My fine husband and I, who I adore, have this ongoing like family development. And when one of us says, you know, the other one says, no, I didn't know that. We've made it into a game, and we've done that with respect. So we started this game. I totally encourage you to do this with your teammates, with your spouse, with whoever, your kids, doesn't matter. Do this in an agreement kind of platform because it can feel really offensive. And I'll give you an example. So my fine husband, who I adore, some of you have actually met my fine husband, actually is another word that's going to go on the list shortly. Sorry, I used that one. Anyway, keep going. We decided that we wanted to help each other speak better. And to do that, we wanted to support each other. So our ears for somebody else are stronger often than our ears are for ourselves. Would you agree? Yes, definitely. We don't hear ourselves all the time, which is another big lesson with this. The language of connecting is to really hear what we're communicating. So we agreed that when we would say certain pieces of empty language, you know, like there's a few others in there, that we would call each other on it. And it's really effective because we're doing it with love and respect. So Larry still says it quite a bit. Not to the level of somebody who uses it a lot. At the same time, it's like, really? I didn't even know I said that. Yes, really. And we keep working on it. These are muscles, my friends. We get into patterns and habits and we simply don't see it. It's like backing out of our driveway. We assume that there's nobody on the sidewalk. We still better look. Let's not have that kind of train wreck or car wreck. So that is one way you can execute improving your language. Have a word nerd buddy and help each other improve your language. I almost never use but. I almost never use you know. That assumes that somebody does. And if I say my next one, which is, do you know what I mean? I don't like that either. That's a whole phrase. Do you know what I mean? It's not even a good acronym. DICWIM. Not a good thing, my friends. We don't want that because if we say, oh, John, do you know what I mean? John's going to have two reactions to that. And they really are reactions. The first one is like, oh, I don't, but I'm going to go along because I don't want to look stupid or like I don't know. The other one is, oh, I do. That's kind of benign. You don't need that. That, do you know what I mean, is verbal garbage. Now, if you're checking for comprehension, which is often what I think we're trying to do, you can ask it in different ways. Don't use, do you know what I mean? Because it's really hard on the audience to assume that. So great. Keep burning up the chat. As you think of it, I'm sure you're going to think of some more. So keep putting them in there. Oh, another phrase. Does that make sense? That's very similar to do you know what I mean? And does that make sense? Makes me feel even more stupid when somebody says that to me. Now, again, intention is 90% of your communication. So this is where you skill up. This is where you really pay attention. One thing that I do for myself, one tactic I use for myself is if I've got a meaningful conversation coming up of any kind, email, letters, phone call, Zoom call, whatever it is, I will often write down what I want to say. And I do that for two primary reasons. One is that I really want to get out what's in this clogged head of mine onto something that is more clear and has more room to move. I sleep on it. I sleep on 95 to 99% of critical communications because I want to make sure that there is respect, that I'm getting to the core of the issue, that I'm saying what I really think I want to say, and I'm getting the crap out of there, the charged material that really doesn't move the conversation forward for whatever reason. The other reason I do that is because I really take pride in my work like you all do. And I want to come across that way. They're both self-feeding. They are separate to me. That's why I do it, because for some of you, it's the same way. And regardless of who you work for or what you do in life, like your reputation is everything. And reputation is who you are and how people see you. And I want people to see me as somebody who is well-spoken, well-written, who doesn't jump off the handle, who has the passion, no doubt about that. That's different than being reactive. So does that make sense? Yeah, don't like that one. Oh, okay, here's another biggie. Ready? Can. And it's twin of can't. Can and can't are killers, my friends. Can and can't are choices. If I called on Dudley and I said, Dudley, would you come join me this Friday night for dinner, my guest? And Dudley said, oh, I can't. I would, Becky, you're shaking your head. You know what I'm talking about, right? A lot of you do. If I say that, if he says that to me, I'm thinking, well, if Dudley's a good friend, I'm feeling kind of put off. It's not that Dudley can't. I mean, if he really wanted to, he could. But the better words are will and won't, do and don't. Those are the words you want to use instead of can and can't. Will and won't, do and don't. What happens there is you completely shift the dynamic. If Dudley says, gosh, Ginger, I'd love to join you. I've already got plans this weekend, so I won't make it. Oh, that's cool, Dudley. Have a great Friday night. We'll do it another time. Completely changes the intention, completely changes the feeling and dynamic. Because when, true or false, in the chat, when we really want something, we make it happen. Yeah, some of you are nodding. Yeah, chat or thumbs up or not. What? Yeah, heck yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. That's why can and can't are very unhelpful words in our vernacular. Now, I'm going to give you a spoiler. Once you're done today with the connecting juice and these words, if you're already paying attention to some of them, and I know you've got some great ones that you've shared already, these are going to irritate you when you catch them. The good thing is that you are already elevating your practices. What I'm going to encourage you to think about is that while, for example, my fine husband and I, we check each other on it, not everybody wants that. So use it judiciously. I want to assume that, we know about that word too. Use it judiciously. Use it with respect. For example, I have one sister. I love her. She's crazy like I am in some ways. And she was visiting me a couple years ago. We were having a conversation and I love her dearly. I love her dearly. She has a lot of verbal garbage. She does incredible work. And she says and you know, she'll also negate her yes with a no or a no with a yes. Do you know anybody like that? Like, yes, no, but you know, and they keep going. And it's just this smattering of words. Like, it makes me crazy. So whenever I talk with her, I go, it's okay, Ginger, just relax, let it go. There's somebody, pay attention to really what's going on with their relationship. It's hard for me though. Maybe it's hard for you. Certain words trigger you. So I actually, in one of my conversations with her, I said, actually, I don't know. And she looked at me and she totally took that disrespectfully. I was being a little flippant because I was tired of hearing of it. I should have handled it differently. So yes, encourage people to improve their language. If you lead a team, if you participate on a team, if you're a team of one, just take a look at how those ripples go out, because that's really powerful. We want language to be constructive, not destructive. Another great one is just, and I know somebody put that in there. I'm gonna clog this thing right up. Just is a limiter. Just, only, simply can even sometimes be that box that we talked about. Oh, I just need a minute of your time. That's never true. 25 minutes later, you're like, okay, the bus already left, my lunch has gone cold, and now I'm backed up. What we want to do instead of just simply only is to get affirmation beforehand. Sandra, would you have 15 minutes of time? See, we don't even need just. Sandra can say yes or no. She can come back and say, I have 5. Great. Think about it this way. If you can have a great, meaningful conversation in 5 minutes instead of 15, you got ninja skills, my friends. Less is truly more. Brevity is the soul of wit, and so much more. How many of us have ever gotten cornered, proverbially, with a conversation that someone says, I just want to talk to you for a minute. Anybody else? Yeah, all of us, right? So don't be that person. And I'll give you a pro tip. How do you extract yourself from there? That's like, I want to know how to get out of this, Ginger. Yes, that's when the cats are in the bag and the cats are thinking, untie this thing and let me loose. So when we are that cat in the bag, here's a couple of things I use. You're getting grad level pro tip stuff here, my friends. I do this. I literally put up the time signal. People pause. That I don't have to interrupt verbally. I am signaling physically. It's a very effective tool because they will pause. Often there's a physical shift with that. Another thing I do, some of you have seen me do this. I know Becky has seen me do this many times because I work with Pathway Industries, her fantastic company serving the IDD community. I will literally raise my hand. They're midstream and I confuse them. I throw them off. Like, oh, what, you got something? Yes, I do. And then you can take control of the conversation again, or at least your part in it. You say, look, I've got 5 minutes right now. Can we get to it in 5 minutes? Yes, I can. No, I can't. And if we need more time, I'm totally willing to look at another time. Language has everything to do with this time on the planet. Everything to do with it. And you, my friends, are in charge and in command of your time. Do not let somebody else take it. When they say, do you have just 5 minutes? When they say, do you know what I mean? Do you, any of these things, all the ones you contributed in the chat, a lot of times it's related to a time factor. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. Here's another bonus one. When you are looking at your time, do you invest it or do you spend it? We actually developed the Howell principle of investing time at a workshop with Becky. And we were talking about time and it really occurred to me, and a lot of you are nodding and smiling, you know exactly what I mean. You do know what I mean. I know you know what I mean because you're giving me the signals. I don't even have to ask you. The Howell principle is this. Don't spend your time. Spending your time is like finding a $10 bill on the sidewalk. It's somebody forgetting something that you would like and you pick it up on the beach. It's sheer dumb freaking luck. It's chance. Investing has a payback, my friends. Investment means you're putting yourself into it because there is going to be some sort of return. Think of investing your time and not spending it. And as it relates to the language of connecting today here on the Connecting Juice for you all, think of your language that way too. What are you willing to invest into great language? I'm gonna love to see Janice Porter. She's in the house today. Janice is a LinkedIn coach, world class. Highly recommend if you're interested in LinkedIn, connect with Janice. And Janice's goal when she works with people and when they connect with her, she connects with them, is hers is to make online go offline, to create a real relationship. And she uses the language of connecting to do that, because she knows how powerful it is, because she knows what she wants from it. And it's really important that we're clear on what we want from those conversations. That's another reason why language is so powerful. Step into that amazingness that is you. Look at your language. Look at how you speak. Have a word nerd buddy. Really? Hey, would you listen to this for me? I'm going into this meeting, or I think I want to share this. Anne, would you read this for me and give me your feedback? Great, of course. And feel free to say no. That's a powerful phrase of 6 words that's really useful. I got that from one of my coaches, Blair Enns. Feel free to say no. Give people the hook to get off themselves. If I go to Anne and say, Anne, would you please read the manuscript of my next book in the next 24 hours? Anne's a really giving, thank you for nodding no. She's a really giving person. That's a really big ask. She's not my editor. She's not my copywriter. She can say, Ginger, of course I want to help you. I have time this time, or how about 1 chapter at a time, or not in the next 24 hours. This is when I can do it. Feel free to say no is a really useful phrase. I would encourage you all to use it. We don't always want to use it. We don't want to use it where there's something that we really truly believe is something we need or want. Don't let people off the hook for that. However, give them an out when it fits. I could say, Anne, would you please read 1 chapter of my book in the next 48 hours? Feel free to say no. I know I'm asking her something big. So that's when we use that. I use it in my work. If somebody asks me for something, hey, would you give a free workshop, or feel free to say no because we don't have any money. I really appreciate that, because they're respecting that my work has worth and monetary value goes with that. So that feel free to say no. There's another bonus today. I have a couple more because I just love you. When people preface something with honestly, blah, blah, blah. We mentioned this a little bit before. It makes me wonder, were you not honest before? Whatever. That's just attitude in a word. Whatever. We're dismissing people when we use that. We're dismissing our own power. We're letting that go. We are massively disconnecting. Please don't use that. Oh, here's a gem I got from a wonderful woman named Katrina. She told me that when she was growing up, her parents wouldn't let her say things and stuff like that. I really have found that useful. It's just like my accounting pro says, Ginger, there's no such thing as miscellaneous. It's true. There is a category for everything in bookkeeping. The IRS does not appreciate miscellaneous. Thank you for the heads up on that one. Even if it's one of something in a sea of a million, name it. Name your things, name your stuff. Such funny. We're such a funny breed. We have such a funny language. We have 80,000 words in the English/American language. I think I speak American. It's up to you what you call it. I'm not English. When we're looking at that plethora of words, when we're thinking about how we want to communicate, I'm going to leave you with a challenge today. It's 3 prongs, because I love you. Number 1, pay attention to your language, your written words and your verbal words, and your texted, like anything that comes off your fingers or out of your mouth. The second prong is pay attention to the words in your brain. Because what we think, we manifest. And if we're thinking something and something different comes out, we're really at conflict with ourselves. If I'm thinking that Ginger is full of crap and what comes out my mouth is, Ginger, I love you, I'm very disingenuous. And that's not a good thing. That's really unhealthy, frankly. So make sure that your internal words match your external words. And number 3, go ahead and get a word nerd buddy. Find somebody who you like and respect in any part of your life and say, hey, I'm stepping up. I want to improve my language. I want to improve my vernacular, how I speak, how I write. Would you be willing to support me and help me with that? Think about somebody who would be great. Think about somebody who is a similar intensity. just like in food and beverage pairing, which I have a huge background in, intensity provides a match. Don't pick somebody who's just learning. They're good people, they're not your right people. Don't find somebody who's 15 stories above you. Find somebody who is within that range, because then you get to grow together. You get to celebrate the wins together, and you get to keep helping each other grow. Now, I absolutely subscribe to a whole spectrum of people and friends, makes, models, colors, shapes, everything. So when you have made some progress with this first word nerd buddy, find somebody else. Make it a club. I don't care. It's up to you. I know that I learn different things from different people. You know that too. So your language of connecting. You've got a whole bunch of new words. You contributed a whole bunch of great words. Expunge them from your vocabulary. There's a good word for you. Get rid of them. You're more powerful than that. You're more eloquent than that. And when you really believe that, when you start to practice that, you become that. So proud of you. I will take any questions you have right now, any Ginger, what do you think about, or opportunities to connect. Let me know what's on your, you can just unmute yourself and go.
I have a question, Ginger.
Yes, Janice.
Thank you for the shout out. And I see myself more, I'm not a coach as much as a trainer. Okay. My background is teaching, but however, I changed that. Myself. However, and I do use that expression. Does that make sense? So in the context of teaching, is that still a no-no? And if it is, what would you recommend? Because it seems to be a habit. I want people to know that I've gotten through to them and they understand. Do they understand?
Sure. And that is a great question, Janice. I'm really glad you asked it. I would imagine the whole room is. I would encourage you to ask in a different way, because what we are doing is we're checking for comprehension. We do want to make sure that we're meeting the objective. So one way you could say that is putting it on yourself, because when you say, does that make sense? You're putting it on them. Let's put it back on us and say, have I made myself clear? As everything I shared, is everything I've shared with you clear for you?
Love it.
Use it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Any others? All right. So you've got your marching orders. You are my newest class of indoctrinated word nerds. I'm really proud of you. When you want more of connecting lessons, I do have my Connectors Academy. It meets monthly. We go deep on one subject, and then because of I keep the group really small quantity wise, we go deep into what is on your plate. If you're interested in that, you can Google that on my website, or you can let me know and I'll send you the direct link. Workshops, I'm also, like Janice, I consider myself a teacher, a trainer, speaker. I've had the honor of working with many of you, and I am always appreciative of the good word forward. Let me know how I can help you at any time. I am very accessible. You can call me, text me, email me. Let me know what's on your plate so I can help you continue to be a better connector in this fabulous, crazy world we have. It'll always be wild and crazy. So stay tuned for more. Join us next month for more Connecting Juice. Go forth, use your words for good, and we'll see you then. Thanks.